So my dad's always been someone who gets into a lot of fights, growing up. I mean, obviously now he's a little bit older, so, he tries to stay out of that sort of vibe. But he grew up in a rougher area, getting into a lot of fights. So at a young age, he kind of started trying out a few of the traditional martial arts. Like he did karate for a while, kickboxing, and he eventually found jiu-jitsu. My sister and I were like very, very young when he started that, and obviously we couldn't go into class. That Bobby at the time wasn't teaching. I think you needed to be 6 years old or something like that to start classes. So my dad bought the Gracie Combatives DVD, and he started teaching us at home. We had like two of these mats at home. The two of us used to just go over that stuff until we were old enough to go and start training in the actual classes. And then from then on, it was consistently we would train from about 2 to 4 times a week, and then it just kind of carried on from there. I will admit though that I didn't like it for a long time. I wanted to quit many times, and my dad was like, you know what, just you don't have to compete, just something that you can keep in your back pocket. If you ever need to use it, you can. If you ever want to teach, you can, whatever. And so I did, reluctantly. By the time I was about 16, 17, I really started to enjoy it, and I was just about to finish school. Obviously I homeschooled, so I was going to finish, and as I finished school I went overseas for about a month, just like vacation. I had friends in family in Switzerland. I went to stay with them for about a month, and I was just thinking about what I wanted to do when I got back. Did I want to study something? What did I want to do? And I was like, actually I really want to do jiu-jitsu. So I came back and started competing a lot, training as much as I could, and then I made the move to Rich. I can't even remember what year. I think it was early 2018, and started training here, twice a day, 6 days a week. Started winning everything here, and then kind of pushed me to try and take it overseas. I went to the trials, really excited, thought I could really make some waves, and ended up losing in the second round. So I was quite disappointed with myself there, and sitting in the hotel with my dad those couple of days afterwards, thinking, shit man, what are we going to do from here? We thought we could do it, but it doesn't look like we can. And I spoke to my mom, gave her a call, and she was like, why don't you try and go over to the US for a few months, just see if you can go and train with those guys, compete a little bit there, get some exposure, and just take it from there. So we thought about it and was like, okay, it's a good idea. So I left from Poland thinking I was going to be gone from South Africa for 6 days, go over to Poland, from Poland to the US, and started training there with John. I was there, I think, for about 2 weeks training at the Henzo Gracie classes, the open classes, and John invited me to come to the pro training sessions at Roca. And I was like so excited. I was like this is a dream come true. Like Gordon's training there, Gary's training there, all these guys. Like wow. So of course I was like, absolutely, I'll be there. So I started training there with him, and he asked me, what my goals were and aspirations in jiu-jitsu, and I said to him, look, I want to be the best in the world. And so he said to me, okay, well then let's do it. So I started training 3 times a day. Every single day, 7 days a week. So we've got no rest days there, and I've really just been pushing myself as hard as I can, enjoying it, and trying to learn as much as I can from those guys. And it's really been amazing for me to see like the amount of growth that I've been able to make in such a short period of time with those guys. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
What do you think? You spoke about being a kid who wasn't really all that interested in jiu-jitsu to eventually, like, obviously there's maturation as you get older and that kind of thing,
yes.
But to then getting to a point where you're telling John Danaher you want to be the best in the world, what do you think clicked, or what changed?
Yeah, so I think as a kid I was just really lazy, I'll be honest with you, and my dad was teaching me most of the time. So it's like, oh, you're comfortable with the guy, you don't really want to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Like, oh man, I want to go downstairs, watch TV, eat chocolates, So I think that was probably just one of the biggest things that I had to, get through back then. But now, it's like my mom always says, you don't really enjoy things until you're good at them, right? So maybe I feel like maybe as I started to get a little bit better at jiu-jitsu, maybe I can actually be good at this. You start to enjoy it a little bit more, and then one day I was like, wow, actually, this is really something that I would love to dedicate my life to. So yeah, I think it's just, you know, that mindset change of, oh man, I can do this, you know.
You spoke about John calling you out to invite you to the big leagues, as it were. What's that whole experience been like? I mean, obviously as a young guy trying to make it in jiu-jitsu, training with guys like Gordon Ryan and under the tutelage of John Danaher, and there's a mix of killers in there, people coming in and out, the biggest names in the industry. What's that whole experience been like for you personally, and then for your jiu-jitsu as well?
Yeah, so absolutely amazing, right? So you know, especially like coming from here, you know, you watch all those guys on Pro Grappling, you're like, man, that's, you know, imagine meeting that guy, you know. Then you actually go, then you get to train with them, you become friends with them. So it's been an absolutely like awesome experience for me. I feel extremely blessed to have gotten the opportunity to be able to be invited there by John, you know, and Gordon and John and Gary have helped me out so much, not even just on the mat, you know, just in general, like getting around places, doing stuff for me. Like if I needed something, they were there to help me, you know. So it's been a really amazing experience getting to know them as people as well as jiu-jitsu practitioners. And then just in terms of my jiu-jitsu, it's been great to see that like how high the level of jiu-jitsu can get, you know, in terms of Gordon. Obviously it's just like no one can match him, but also, you know, how high the level of my jiu-jitsu is, you know, compared to, you know, there's a lot of guys who come in and out of the gym, big names and whatnot, and you know, you do well against those guys and you're like, man, this guy's won so many world championships, he's done this, he's done that, actually, you know, like I can beat this guy. So it definitely raises the confidence level quite a lot. And then also just to have Gordon Ryan telling you, listen, you better win, you know. As you know, obviously he puts pressure on in like a friendly way, you know, but he wants us to do as well as we can. And you know, having that kind of motivation of him saying, you know, listen, you can do this, is it's really, it helps you a lot.
The big talking point, we obviously, you got a couple of super fights while you were overseas, and I think for like some of us, I mean, not me, but people more deep in the know, kind of expected you to shine on that stage, and then the trials came, and, and now you're on your way to the ADCC. What are you feeling like? Obviously, you're going to go through, I would imagine, one of your first like ever real professional jiu-jitsu camps of this stature to go to the ADCC. What is it like now at the moment? Has it sunk in? Obviously, ADCC is the World Cup for jiu-jitsu, so it's a big thing.
Yeah, so definitely has sunk in. I mean, you know, since I started this journey of wanting to do jiu-jitsu professionally, it's like it's been a goal of mine, you know, and I know that ADC is where I should be, you know. And I want to say that like as humbly as I can, but that's where I want to be, you know. So for me, it wasn't a surprise to me that I did win the trials. I knew I was going to win it eventually. It was a matter of when. And the goal hasn't changed with whether it's trials or the worlds. You know, I'm going to go in with the same mindset. You know, I have, you know, trained with a few of the guys in that division. And I definitely believe that I have what it takes to take some names and, you know, make a big showing of myself and potentially win that division. So I'm super excited. I mean, especially with the 12-week camp that I'm going to be starting as I go back there. I'm going to be putting in as much work as I possibly can, and yeah, no, I definitely plan to go out there and put on a big show.
Barring the obvious of winning something like the ADCC, what do you think that does for you in your career?
Oh yeah, so obviously ADCC is like the biggest grappling event in the world, right? So winning that, obviously, you know, aside from, you know, the title of, you know, ADCC champion, it just opens up a whole bunch of doors for, you know, seminars, DVDs. You can start, you know, marketing yourself and really start making a living off of jiu-jitsu. Whereas now you kind of just, you know, I'm just kind of surviving. You know, it's I love it still because it's what I want to do. But, you know, it obviously just makes it a little bit easier when you're able to, you know, kind of look after yourself a little bit better. You know, so that would be you know, really helpful to, you know, kind of just be able to provide for myself. And eventually the goal is to be able to look after my family. You know, like if my mom and my dad, I'd like to bring them over at some stage there, you know, if I stay there. So the goal for me is eventually to be able to just to look after everybody that's helped me get to where I am.
Fantastic. You've got a little ring of seminars happening while you're here in town.
Yeah.
I would encourage everybody to get out and see it. It's a very unique opportunity to learn from almost direct from the mastermind himself. So you've got Friday in Durban, 27th, and then the next one?
It's the 4th of June, and then there's a few other dates that I'm working on with some other gyms that might pop up. I'm not going to say the dates yet because I haven't confirmed them yet. But once they come out, we'll announce those as well.
And just so people understand, the seminars are to help you obviously raise a bit of money to get back out.
Yes.
It's not an easy life.
Yeah.
Well, not that it's a hard life, but it's not
Yeah.
a cheap life
No.
in the States.
Yeah.
So where can people check you out, stay in touch with those kind of things?
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on Instagram, Luke_Griffith Jiu-Jitsu. I have Facebook as well. I do apologize, I'm not super active on Facebook, not very savvy with that. So Instagram's probably the best place to get in touch with me. But yeah, you can follow me there and see what all matches I've got coming up, what's going on. So yeah.